Good evening and welcome to the May 22nd Murfreesboro City Schools Board meeting. As we begin our meeting this evening, we have two friends who are going to say the pledge for us or lead us in the pledge, Armando Pacheco and Brashun Odell. And if you'll remain standing after the pledge for a moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, gentlemen. And I have to say, in all the years that I've been on the school board, that was the most, loud, vocal, lovely Pledge of Allegiance we've ever had. So congratulations to you. All right. May I have an approval of the agenda that you have before you and you've had at home?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. King. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Say aye if you approve the agenda.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Communications, Mrs. Trail.
Good evening. We want to begin by just announcing that Candy Powers from our ESP program has been asked to present at the Middle Tennessee Summer Symposium for the 21st Century Community Learning Centers personnel in June. In addition, she has been asked to co-present at the Tennessee LEAD Conference in October at the Music City Center. The state has also asked Murfreesboro City Schools to present at LEAD concerning its Farm to School program. So we're very proud to be sharing our knowledge with statewide organizations. Also, congratulations to Alex Juneau. She's a third grade teacher at Pittard. She's been selected as a 2018-19 class of the Tennessee Educator Fellowship Score, which is a state collaborative on reforming education. Alex is one of only 38 fellows chosen from the K-12 educators representing 24 districts across the state. Once again, very happy to have our people representing us across the state. Congratulations to Dr. Christy Mall. Dr. Mall is a teacher at Discovery School. She was named a Distinguished Classroom Teacher by the Tennessee Education Association. Murfreesboro City Schools would also like to thank Walmart on the Memorial Boulevard for the donation of school supplies. They will be distributed to the teachers and students at the beginning of the next school year. Mitchell Nielsen would like to thank the community partner of First Baptist Castle Street for their generous donation of $1,000 towards Mitchell Nielsen School. Reeves Rogers Elementary has been awarded an equipment assistant grant from the United States Department of Agriculture in the amount of $25,000 to purchase a steamer for the use in its school. Also, you may remember the beautiful display of art that we had outside at our last meeting. That art was taken down from City Hall and moved to MTSU's Todd Art Center. It has been displayed for the last several weeks, and we have some winners that represented Murfreesboro City Schools. In fact, from Merit Awards, we had two Merit Award winners, one from Northfield Elementary and one from Irma Siegel Elementary. We also had two awards of excellence, one student from Hobgood and the other student was from Reeves Rogers Elementary. I want to make some notes just for calendar. May 23rd, which is tomorrow, City of Murfreesboro will be holding a community meeting at Overall Creek Elementary regarding the new school building, and that will begin at 5:30. So it's regarding the new school that will be built, but it's being held at Overall Creek Elementary. Also, Mr. Joe Thompson's retirement will be held on May 24th at Black Fox Elementary from 4 to 6 p.m. That's Thursday afternoon. We hope everyone can come out and wish him well as he begins his retirement. On May 31st, we will have a ribbon cutting of Bob's Book Bus. It will be at 5 o'clock at Hobgood outside the front area there. And we hope you can all attend that. Today, books were loaded on the bus, and it's ready to begin the summer with looking really, really fantastic. So our summer food service program, which is known as the CHOW program, will be serving from 24 locations. That begins May 29th and will run through July the 27th. At this point, I'd like to turn the podium over to Mr. Gary Anderson and let him finish up the recognitions.
Thank you. I'm going to speak from here for the first part, and then I'm going to go to the podium. First part is we have two special recognitions, board members, and they're going to be presented from the Coordinated School Health Program. Darla Sampson is the Supervisor of Coordinated School Health, and Autumn DePriest is the Wellness Coordinator there. And ladies, if you'd come up and make your presentations known to the world tonight. Sure.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for this opportunity to tell you about one of our most popular programs that we offer our MCS students. Darla and I would like to thank all the board members who participated in judging of the competitions, and of course all of the judges who helped make this program successful by volunteering their time to taste our students' dishes. This includes our MCS employees and our community partners. So this program is called Chef Academy. At your desk tonight is an information sheet about Chef Academy. We'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have about this program and the internal partnership between Coordinated School Health and School Nutrition. 4 years ago, Sandy Sheely started the program through the Nutrition Department, which has now served over 1,000 students. Each year's competition ultimately produces one winning team, with all the members of that team receiving professional white chef coats, and they get their winning dish featured on the school lunch menu. Tonight, we are proud to present to you the 2018 Chef Academy Finale winners from John Pittard Elementary. I would like to bring them up and have them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Gordon, the graduate chef. I'm Chef Camilla Cooper.
I'm Chef Caleb Alford.
I am Chef Callan Oliver.
I am Chef Amanda Simmons.
And as you can see, they look very professional in their white chef coats that they won on May 10th. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to ask our board if they have any questions for our champions.
I'd just like to say I had the delicious pleasure of being a judge, and I fully support this program. And it's great. It's amazing what the creativity and the culinary skills that they've developed, and I think it's a great thing to continue. Like I say, call on me anytime for judging.
Yes.
What was your favorite dish or item that you made? What was your favorite?
My favorite was the mashed potatoes.
That sounds
Mine was the barbecue chicken.
Ooh.
Barbecue. That was mine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved all of it.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you all develop your own dishes, or, I like to watch Chopped on TV. So I don't know if you had like a Chopped basket type deal, or they give you what to make and you just put your own spin on it.
Yeah, they just give us a recipe, they give us what we have to make.
So now you have to cook at home, right? Yeah.
What I enjoyed the night that I was able to judge was the fact that I guess I'd gotten some background information from another judge from the previous year, and that when I asked questions, they could just answer everything. What did you do with this? How did you do that? What temperature was that? And they were fantastic. So you really did a great job, and we're so proud of you. And of course, we're proud of Chef Jack as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
And with that, It takes teamwork to make a winning team, but it also takes teamwork to make this program such a success. One of those happens to be Chef Jack Sawyers, who has been with Chef Academy since the beginning, and I must tell you, the kids and parents adore him. Chef Jack works with the students for 26 weeks out of the school year, teaching the students life skills that will be useful in their lives as they grow. He does it with kindness, patience, and expertise. He truly is a professional. So thank you, Chef Jack. Okay, I'll have y'all go have a seat over here. You want to follow mine right here?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next people I would like to recognize is the Rutherford County Health Department. They provide 30 staff members from various departments each year through the Primary Prevention Initiative. Their tasks include judging, preparing the cookbooks, organizing and creating material, and providing training and mentoring for the participants each week. From these tasks, you can see that this program would not happen without the Rutherford County Health Department's continuous support. There is one person in particular from the Rutherford County Health Department that I would like to mention. Her name is Aubrey Jones, and unfortunately she cannot be here with us tonight. But I want to highlight her because the work that she does for this program is outstanding, and it goes unnoticed. It does not go unnoticed. There you go. I know that any of you that have interacted with her would agree that she's an amazing person with a positive, outgoing personality, along with an exceptional work ethic. She is with the students and Chef Jack every week for the entirety of the program. She is the backbone behind the scenes, and we are beyond grateful to have her with Chef Academy. At this time, I would like to make a very special presentation to the Rutherford County Health Department with a laser engraved rolling pin of appreciation for cooking in the kitchen with Murfreesboro City Schools. Congratulations and thanks for all that you do to make this program successful.
Oh, that's nice. That is beautiful.
That's a trophy.
That's precious.
Nice.
And while she's getting that, I also want to point out that LaShann is the person who does the Petals and Pearls with us so well. So really appreciate what she does.
Beautiful.
Thank you
Great partnership.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions?
Where can I get one of those rolling pins? Huge.
Amazon.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make some big biscuits out of that rolling pin.
Yes, sir.
Well, after having great experiences with our chefs, I get to talk about trash.
All right.
Yes, and one thing that we do is we don't want to trash our future, so let's recycle. So every year we have a recycling contest with all of our schools, and it's based on a percentage of how much of our waste is recyclable and how much is really what's called true trash. Ms. Mimi Kiesling is here. She's the Environment Education Coordinator for Rutherford County. And she is the one who goes dumpster diving early in the morning to see what we're doing. I'm sorry.
Don't be jealous.
Yes, don't be. She said, "Don't be jealous." And Mac Nolan, who's the Solid Waste Director for Rutherford County, is also a big part of our total program. Our goal is to recycle 50% of our trash, and we keep working towards that. We haven't gotten there quite yet, but we'll keep working on it. And obviously, with all these wonderful people in here tonight, we know we're going to eventually get really close to that. Our first goal was 25% in volume, and we're getting closer and closer. 13 of our 13 schools, 11 reached over that goal this year.
Really
So
good.
we averaged recycling of 27.4% by volume district-wide. Now, that's great. We want to get more. We're going to keep working at it. But that involves a team effort of teachers and students and staff and food service and extended school program, custodial, and the school's recycling teams. And that's what we're here for tonight, is to honor and pay tribute to our recycling teams who got us this goal. We have different things we look at. I'm not going to bore you with that. It's not just that, but it's other things like, have they broken down the boxes? Do they have trash in there that shouldn't be in the recycling that really ruins it for us. And we have been lucky enough that we've gotten so much better at it that we don't have as many of those issues come up. Well, this year it's a very unique year for us. We have one school that is not with us this evening but is receiving special recognition. They've already been notified of that. And what it is, it's what was called the rate of recycling the trash on a per yard per student basis. And we had 40.6 students per yard at one of our schools, and that school was Overall Creek. Overall Creek, as you know, is one of our two biggest schools. And what's interesting about that is they only had one recycling dumpster, and the Rutherford County Recycling said they deserve special recognition because they did it with just one recycling. It means they had to be really efficient in how they did it. So Mr. Barch and his team have been recognized. They've been sent their awards, and they're excited, and they have challenged the winners this year that they say they're going to win next year. No? Okay. All right, what we have is a recycling rate of our champions, and this for the first year ever. We have co-winners. They got the same percentage of recycling, and it was 33% of their trash was recycled. Let's give a big round of applause for 33%. That's good. Our co-champions are going to split this wonderful trophy.
I like that.
Actual dumpster. Has the school name on it. And this year we had the co-winners of 33%. And the first one is Hobgood Elementary, Principal Dr. Tammy Garrett.
All right. Beautiful.
What we have for each one of the students is a little pencil holder. Or I have a granddaughter who has American Girl dolls, and she just loves to have one. Nice little pencil holder, and right on it, it says, "Don't trash our future, recycle." So everyone who's on the recycling teams, at your team, and the other winners that they're sitting over on this side, we're not going to talk about them just yet, get one of these. And then you can share this trophy, and I don't care how you fight over it and split it up and split the time with the other winning school. So, Dr. Garrett, would you like to say a few words, hand out some little...
If my students who are here tonight and teachers who were involved would come up with me. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I want to make sure that I thank my custodial staff with Miss Pam Holden and Mr. Kenneth and Miss Deborah, and especially Mr. Robert, who is very diligent about coming and checking and helping us, and also Miss Natalie Anderson, who is the lead teacher, who came to me and said, "Hey, can I head this up?" And I was like, "Yes," and she has really done a good job. Natalie, do you want to say anything?
First of all, I would like to also thank our custodial staff and Mr. Robert, who did a phenomenal job at our school. But we have a whole team, and these students are the ones who came to the top. They are our recycling superstars, and we would like to recognize them. In addition to that, at Hobgood, we have a culture of recycling. It's expected. The teachers give the expectations, and what we've noticed is that all of our students are rising to the top. All of our students are showing what is expected and meeting those recycling expectations that we set forth. So we would like to thank all of our students, all of our staff, and everybody who comes together to make that happen at Hobgood. I would like to recognize 6 students, 5 of whom are here today, who have shown exemplary recycling leadership at Hobgood Elementary. The first is 6th grader Maya Hurlston. Thank you very much for your hard work and dedication to the program. Trey White. Thank you, sir, for your dedication to the program. 3rd grader Also, third grader, Jason Britton. Thank you, sir, for your dedication. Natalie Pacheco. Thank you, ma'am, for your dedication to our program. And kindergartner, Dante Lyons. Thank you, sir, for your dedication to our program at Hopgood.
Very good.
Thank you all. And also Omar Pacheco. Thank you very much for desking. Thank you.
That's great, Hobgood. Congratulations.
Now the other one.
All right, that's Hobgood Elementary School, and they have done an excellent job of recycling, and we're very proud of them. And part of the reason we do all this recycling, too, is, as you know, the landfill is getting close to being unable to be used. And so we really feel it's part of our responsibility to do as much recycling as we possibly can. All right, the next co-winners, also with 33%, is Scales Elementary School and Miss Maria Johnson. Smile for the cameras. There you go. Do a little Vanna White.
You know, I've been waiting a while for this.
Been waiting a while.
We've been trying for quite some time. We have quite a few students and teachers with us tonight, so I'm going to ask them to come up. Mr. Eric Bonner is over our recycling program at Scales Elementary School, and we use our 6th grade school leaders. So they volunteer one time a week during the recess to give up that recess time to come and collect the recycling in the school building. So I'm also going to ask my 6th grade teachers who are here as well to come up. We have Zan Lasco, Teresa Rotella, Craig Offit, and Jessica Jacobs. We also want to thank, a huge part of this also is for our cafeteria staff as well as our custodial staff also contributing to our recycling efforts at the school. Dr. Gilbert, you know when you invite us, we come large. So we're not going to give our certificates out today. We're going to give them out on Thursday at the 6th grade graduation, but we are going to recognize our students. So boys and girls, when you come, we're going to have you come around the front. And we will present you with your items here, and then we'll make a path for you to go back. Mr. Bonner, have you changed your mind? He said, Johnson, I'm not saying anything. But would you like to say anything, Mr. Bonner? Would any of the teachers like to say anything?
That could be a first there, Miss Johnson.
Me on the spot. Nothing like being put on the spot. Well, this year, I mean, we had so many students that were, wanting to participate in this program, so we had to actually rotate. We had teams of 6 that would do it for an entire 9 weeks, and then we'd get another team of 6 and do it for an entire 9 weeks. So that's why we have several students, because there were so many of them that wanted to be a part of it. So we do commend them for that and thank them very much. So, all right.
Good job.
But now think about all of those recyclers now as they come up. So, all right, you ready? All right, boys and girls, if you come on around.
How come my principal wasn't like that when I was in elementary school? I said, how come my principal wasn't like that?
How fun.
I'll fight over the corrugated container there.
It's astonishing when you start recycling, how much stuff you just were sending to the landfill before you started to recycle things. It's amazing.
Dr. Garrett, since I'm standing here by the trophy, I'll take it on back to Scales, and then I'll ship it to Hobgood.
Do we have a big round of applause again for our recyclers. The county recycling gave us magnifying glasses so we could make sure we can read everything on our trash. And I'd like to make, again, a very special thank you to Mimi. She calls herself the queen of trash. Nah, I don't know.
All right.
That's kind of rough to call yourself that, Mimi. Remember, please don't trash our future and recycle. And thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Okay, we loved having this wonderful experience. We'd like you to know that you may leave. It's okay.
You're not going to hurt our feelings.
They have school tomorrow.
Yeah, you got school. Yeah, you got school tomorrow.
I don't understand the lack of interest in budget discussion.
Just like that on this policy.
Right. Everybody's comfortable, but you're going to clear a room.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just been.
I'm assuming.
Oh, this is Disney. I wish I could come to Bob for us.
Been a while. Been a while.
I think they're about gone. Okay, I'd like to invite Mr. Jared Barrett to come down, please. I hope I don't cry, so it's okay. We have enjoyed We've enjoyed Jared Barrett's company for the last several years, and so this is a special night to celebrate him. We have a resolution for you, Jared. Now, for those who don't know, he has accepted a job in Minnesota, Michigan, Louisville,
Kentucky, north of here.
Yeah, up that way.
Yeah.
Louisville. We talked about this because we have friends in Louisville, but sorry, this is one of those moments. All right, so this is a resolution of the Murfreesboro City Board of Education honoring Jared Barrett. Whereas his commitment to public education has been clearly demonstrated in his 6 years of service on the Murfreesboro City School Board of Education, having been elected in 2012, and whereas during his tenure on the board, he welcomed the expansion of Hobgood, the expansion of Black Fox, and the building of Overall Creek in the district. And whereas his commitment to continuous personal learning and growth has been clearly demonstrated by his active work with the Tennessee School Boards Association, in which he earned Level 4 boardsmanship and served as a district Tennessee legislative representative. And whereas, with his support, Murfreesboro City Schools has formulated a broad educational agenda to address the needs of the whole child, as evidenced by a comprehensive behavioral approach, an expanded summer food service program, integrated special education preschools, a response to intervention model, which has transformed the way schools across Tennessee approach the acquisition of academic skills, and other social, emotional, and academic outreach practices. And whereas he has championed technology infusion, including robotics and drones, and promoted innovation for children through applied learning and content integration, expansion of the Gifted program, a student leadership academy, a model farm-to-school program, and state-of-the-art practices for staff, such as Employee Leadership Academy, Prospective Administrators Academy, Aspiring Educators Academy, and New Administrators Program. And whereas he has devoted for professional learning communities, where he has advocated for professional learning communities, which transform the way Murfreesboro intentionally and purposefully approaches professional development, curriculum, instruction, and assessment, And whereas during his years as a member of the board, he has been a vigorous leader in and effective proponent of a common sense approach to legislative actions, always insisting that students come first in all the decisions. And saying absolutely. And whereas he encouraged learning outside the walls of Murfreesboro City Schools with opportunities through the Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Middle Tennessee State University, Lipscomb University, and Vanderbilt University. And whereas he has managed local, state, and federal projects as an archaeologist, has served on the Rutherford County Board of Zoning Appeals and Rutherford County Beer Board, and is the president-elect of the Tennessee Council for Professional Archaeology. And whereas he has successfully worked to create positive, open avenues of communication among teachers, support staff, administrators, and district-wide personnel, and whereas our city has been fortunate to have such a devoted and dedicated person as Jared Barrett to have served the best interest of the children of Murfreesboro City Schools. Therefore, be it resolved this 22nd day of May 2018 that the Murfreesboro City School Board acknowledges the accomplishments of Mr. Jared Barrett, offers its sincere appreciation to him for the level of educational excellence he has facilitated, and wishes him the best as he pursues other endeavors in life.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. He's got a statement up here, and then I have something up here.
Oh, wow.
I didn't write much, but thank you. You hear all the accomplishments we've done over the past 6 years, and it's just amazing what we've been able to do, and I know you all are going to continue to do that into the future because we have a great board. But it's bittersweet, because I'm taking this job with the Corps as an archaeologist in Louisville. But first of all, I just want to thank the people of Murfreesboro for giving me this chance 6 years ago, and then again 2 years ago. They voted me in and allowed me to serve the city on the school board, so thank you. Second, to my wife Amber, who has sacrificed much to allow me to serve on this board. She has, including many nights watching our two twin girls, Annabelle and Olivia, who I love so much, and is two of the reasons why I'm taking that job in Louisville. I'm going to use this upside-down pyramid that Dr. Gilbert always loves to talk about and focus on the child. And I'm going to thank the children first in Murfreesboro. I know you are loved by our teachers and our staff and by our board. Next, the parents, the teachers, administrators, central office staff, my fellow board members, Dr. Gilbert. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to serve with you over these past years, including those board members I've served with in the past, including Nancy Phillips, Mary Wade, and Dr. Andy Brown. They were also great people to work with. Made it easy, frankly. You all make it pretty easy to do this. Also, City Council for their support over the years. It's been great. And it's been an honor and a privilege to serve alongside all of you for the past 6 years and see Murfreesboro grow. As my wife reminded me today, my first official meeting was 6 years ago today, so it's fitting that this should be my last. So thank you all so much, and I will miss all of you.
Oh, we'll miss you too, Jared.
Well, Mr. Campbell could not be here this evening, but he's with us anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And then afterwards, we might all want to say a little something to Jared from us. I think that would be important. In 2012, the name Jared Barrett appeared on the list of qualified candidates for the Murfreesboro City School Board. I had no idea who this person was, and I began to do my homework. Doesn't this sound like Butch?
Yeah, it does.
And I began to do my homework, as I was also a candidate for the school board. I talked to several people and finally learned from Jeff Jordan that Jared Barrett was a good person and qualified candidate. Jared was elected, and today I'm very proud that I've had the opportunity to serve on the board with him. Jared is dedicated to the well-being of employees and students in Murfreesboro City Schools. He has truly been an excellent board member, and we will miss him as we try to continue doing great things for employees and students. Thank you, Jared, for your dedication and caring for all. I'm sorry that I'm not with you tonight. We will certainly miss you on the board and wish for you the very best in your new position. We hope you will keep in touch and keep us updated on you, Amber, and those two precious young daughters, Annabelle and Olivia. It's from Bush Campbell. So that's sweet.
I know you'll watch it later.
He is, okay. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say?
I'll start.
Okay.
It's the little things. I enjoyed like going to TSBA convention and the National School Board Convention. And not just there, but we'd sit around and we'd talk about, hey, what'd you learn? Here's what I learned. And we're hashing out all these ideas. Well, what if we could do this? And what if we could do that? And basically ways to improve the district, the schools, what can we do to help the teachers and what we can do to help the kids. And I'm going to miss you at the Christmas parade.
I know.
Somebody's got to step up and walk with me during the Christmas parade. It's a ton of fun.
It is.
It seems like a long couple of miles, but it's not. And so I'm going to miss you, but I wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll kick in. I appreciate Jared for quite a few things. The first conversation we had was at the Waffle House.
That's right.
And he kind of showed me the ropes, and I appreciate that. He has been a great supporter. I didn't know how to do anything when I came to the school board at all, and he showed me everything to do. And he always keeps us abreast of all of the legislative happenings. And that is what I will miss about Jared Barrett, because we don't have to read any of the updates because Jared will give them to us. And he's great fun to have at the conventions and the Summer Law Conference and the Legislative Day on the Hill. And just anytime you want to talk about the policies of school boards statewide, he's your man. And he's a great guy. And I, too, will miss I might miss the girls and Amber more than I miss him, but because they're always on Facebook, so I'll watch them and follow them. But congratulations on Louisville. Yeah.
I can only second that emotion. We are going to miss you, Jared, and I really appreciate the camaraderie that we've developed in just the couple of years that I've been on the board. Yep. So I always know that I can come and get a different angle when I listen to your input, and you can always sound off of my input and tell me how crazy I am. So, but I appreciate it very much, Jared. And best wishes to you. You're going to love Louisville.
Thank you.
And you're not going to love the taxes, but you're going to love Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jared, for the questions you have and for listening, for being at events. That really is meaningful. So it really means a lot for the children and the employees of this system. I appreciate your fighting for what's right for education and for not being afraid to speak up when we need you to speak up. And there are times when teachers and employees and children can't speak up, and we need that adult voice. And so thank you for your leadership with that. I enjoy Amber.
I know you.
She's I really have enjoyed her. I think she's a great compliment to you, and I admire your family very much. I still wish I could get your mother down here to teach with us, but that's all right. I won't push
I know.
it. But really wish you the best, and thank you on behalf of the district.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I want to say something, too. I've known Jared for several years, and something that we look at Jared and his how he has fleshed out his heart and passion for public service. I remember when I first met Jared, he had a heart for public service, and his persistence yielded him an opportunity to serve, and he found his niche in public education, and he exercised not only his heart but his mind to contribute to the progress of public education. I know wherever he goes, he's still going to carry that heart of public service. And the challenge for us is to look at Jared's experience. And if you have a passion for public service, persistence will yield you that opportunity. And so I'd hope, I know you would encourage others in our community that have that heart and passion for public service to find your place. There is a place for you in public service in the different organizations in our community, and you have certainly been a valuable part of our community, and we wish you and your family the best as you go forward.
Meant so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody.
I didn't get to say anything.
Oh, of course. Save the best for last, right?
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, it's kind of the same thing that Butch said, that we didn't know you, but I met you on my front porch. I don't know that you remember that, but you were in Regency, and he was on my front porch, and we talked for a long time, because Dennis was running at that time also, wasn't he? Or was
I think.
Oh, the next 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, he ran with Butch, so that's what I thought.
All right.
And so Jared and I spoke then, and I thought, well, he's a nice young man, and he's come all this way, and he's, got it put together, so I voted for you.
Oh, thank you.
And I have voted for you since then. Jared does have that heart. I think having his little girls has expanded that heart, just like the Grinch, bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
And not that I mean you're a Grinch at all, but your passion for, as Bill says, public service, your passion for the children of Murfreesboro, I know that you'll carry that to Louisville or Minnesota or wherever else you might go. But we have appreciated it. We've needed it.
Absolutely.
And you've given it, and you've given it your all. So we'll miss you terribly.
I'm going to miss you all.
I think. Standing ovation. So now we're going to make you work for a couple more minutes.
Make me
Hey, you can vote on anything tonight. You won't be responsible.
Okay. You have before you consent items. Does anyone want to discuss anything, or are we okay to go ahead and have a motion to approve them?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. All righty. Let's, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Action items?
Mr. Anderson.
Okay, first action item is the budget amendments for general purpose budget fiscal year 18. These are housekeeping things we do every year in May to make sure that we meet the state requirements of not exceeding a budgeted line item. And so what we have for you tonight is all the line items that we've adjusted to make sure we didn't go against any of the state rules and regulations. The first line item of each one says from cash included in fund balance. That means we've, in your budget that you approved for 2019, fiscal year 18-19, they call it fiscal year 19. That means we've already included that money in. You've already seen it as part of the fund balance, so it's already been accounted for, but we have to just go through this approval process. As I said, these are basically housekeeping items that we do every year, and we're going to do one at a time, the general purpose, the extended school program, and then school nutrition. So the first one we're asking for is approval of the budget amendments for the general purpose budget for fiscal year 18.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes. Okay, just so I fully understand what you just said, let's just take the first one, the substitute teachers, or it could be any line item. But so we're saying what we budgeted was $400,000. The final budget is $425,000, and that means that's not the final spend, is it? That at some point we increased it $25,000 from the original.
Well, what
or prior was the prior budget year?
Yeah, this is from the budget year we're ending here next month. And what that says is we're going to be about $25,000 more in substitute teachers than our original budget.
Okay.
And what the law says is you just cannot exceed the amount. So we always have to put it a little bit higher to make sure we don't go over that amount.
So, okay, I'm still trying to process then. Did we go over the amount?
Well, the year's not done yet, but we expect to go over the $400,000, and we're putting $25,000 in just to cover the difference.
Okay, so the far right column then is everything that we're going over on.
Correct. And what you don't see in this is because what they require is just the things that you exceed the budgeted amount. You don't see all the ones that were under the budgeted amount.
Right. So that would help if we had a bottom line on the general purpose then to look at and say, yeah, the right-hand column of overage is this, but we're still this far under budget. And maybe you could cover that in the general report you give us, but.
Yeah, because that wouldn't go under amendments.
Well,
pardon me?
It wouldn't need an amendment. These are just for amendments.
Yeah, this is just an amendment to each one of these line items. The
Well, I
total
don't want to
amount.
amend something that's going over budget if we don't have enough money in the pot to cover it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying that the ones that were under wouldn't be on the amendments because there's nothing to amend. So this is just amendment
I'm
reports.
just trying to understand if we're balanced or not. I can't tell from this sheet if we're
Well, and you won't. This sheet is not designed to show that. What all this sheet is designed to do is to say that originally we had budgeted and approved $400,000. Based on the amount of substitute teachers we had to hire this year, remember, for example, we had a higher absence rate for the flu, which meant we had to have more money. The very first line item where it says from cash, that means we have already paid for it. We've already accounted for it for the most part, except for the last month here. And we know that the money is there, and that's why we did that. So we're fine on that part of it. You don't need to worry about that. It's not that we're not going to be out of the cash. We're going to have the money to pay for it.
And isn't it true that anything on those line items that you said perhaps were under, that would go to fund balance?
Right, that goes to fund balance, and that's why that line says included in fund balance means we've already accounted for it, and in the budget you just approved, we've already shown that to you ahead of time. But what the state law requires is that we do each individual line item. We used to not do individual line items; we used to do categorical, and the state wants individual line items.
So I think what he's asking for, though, is what we give with that year-to-date expenditure that shows the whole.
The year-to-date expenditure that you see every month shows it already. It's already in there.
And then to clarify, the lines of substitute teachers all the way down to other charges, if I add those numbers, that totals the from cash portion, correct?
Right.
It's not the 422 plus 25 plus 320.
No, it's just showing that it's covered from it.
Okay. The 422,950 is the total, and everything below that is breaking down how we got to that number.
Exactly. And this is the way the city has asked us to produce this document, because we used to do it differently. This is the way they want it for their accounting.
But
it's adjustments.
And I guess part of Mr. Ballard's concern is we're not going over budget by moving these monies or adding monies, correct?
You're going over your budget. That's why we have to approve these.
Okay.
But you've seen them every month come to you, so you know where we are, and I give you that report that says it. So the only reason we have to make a budget amendment is if we exceed a particular line item, and that's that's why I say it's housekeeping. It's really just saying, here's what we did, folks, and now we have to tell the state this is what we did.
Okay. I'll have another question when we get to it.
But the overall budget class is what we see and what we'll see in a few minutes. So that lets you know where we are as far as the budget. So we have not gone over the budget, but with the individual line items you may have it, but as far as the total budget,
You have not.
and that's where you see it with that piece of paper that you all get the report you get every month.
Yeah, I understand the premise of what you're talking about, but I still have, I guess I'll wait and see the other number that shows us that we're not exceeding budget that will carry over to the end of the fiscal year.
What you'll see at the end, when we go through our audits, is you'll see the fund balance, remaining fund balance, and what this document says is, hey, we've got the remaining fund balance to cover these expenses. We have. Remember, we make this budget up in March and April, and we grew 300 kids. We didn't know exactly how many, so when things come in, and insurance, if a teacher has been getting the $1,500 allocation, and all of a sudden they decide to go and take our health insurance plan, we don't know that until it happens.
Right.
And you can see the medical insurance went up quite a bit, and 11 and a half people changed plans on us and went to family coverage from $1,500.
Right.
And it's just all those things happen during the school year.
Okay.
Would you be more comfortable to hold this until we see the other documents or talk
Yes,
about the budget?
Sure.
I don't guess we need a motion to do that, do we? I don't think. We'll just put it at the bottom.
City, though, don't you need this for the passed?
Well, I mean, we can approve it at the end when we go through the other documents that Mr. Ballard's
talking about?
interested in
The revenue,
seeing.
revenue and expenditure report? Would that help?
Is that what you're wanting to see, is
Yeah.
compared to that?
Not at this moment, just, you just give me assurance that we're going to be good at the end of the year.
It'd be good.
Okay. Then do we have a motion, because each of these has to be approved separately, correct? Do we have a motion to approve the budget amendments?
So move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any against? All right, thank you, it passes. The next one is the ESP budget, and just as a reminder, they're self-supporting, so it does not really affect our budget, it affects their own budget.
Right, and it's the same type of thing, it just, we can't exceed the amount of expenditures in from what you've approved versus what we actually need to spend to cover it. And it is a self-sustaining budget, there is adequate fund balance to cover it, so we're asking again for approval of these budget amendments.
I move for approval.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Or any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Anyone opposed? All right, moving right along.
The next one is the cafeteria funds, and this one we actually are adding money to the fund balance. And we showed on this one, we showed you revenues as well, even though you don't have to approve revenues, we just wanted you to see that the revenues increased by $788,000. And our expenditures increased as well, of course, but our offset is we're going to add to the fund balance $166,000 for the school nutrition program.
Very good.
That's very good.
So we're asking for approval of these budget expenditure amendments.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, I guess we could do the motion first, but I have a question in that, will this carry over to the next year for them with changes that we'll have coming from the federal government?
Yes, and we always want to make sure that we, the federal requirement is that you can't have more than 3 months. If you do, you have to spend it, 3 months reserve. So yes, the money does carry over, it goes into your fund balance, but no more than 3 months worth. If it is, then you've got to go spend it on equipment or whatever.
Okay. So we should be okay, May, June, July, August, we'll be.
Yeah, because our
back
summer
in.
food service program kicks off and it's really strong.
Right. Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the nutrition budget?
So move.
Thank you. And once,
I'll
there we go.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, there is not. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
So welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Adoption of science curriculum.
Mr. Marlin.
Thank you, Board. I'd like to spend just a minute to give you some background to help you understand the process. Some of you have not been through this process before. So just to give you some background, the state guides the timing of when we adopt new textbooks, and that's driven by the adoption of new standards. And as the state revises standards, and then and they go through a lengthy process to get to that part, they also give time for vendors, textbook developers, and publishing companies time to implement and write new textbooks. So it's a lengthy process, and it's a cyclical process in that we don't renew every year. There are times there are down periods, and so that's why I said we haven't done this in a couple of years, and so this may be new to some of you. This year we're in the process of adopting science textbooks. The standards were published a couple of years ago. Textbook companies have produced their products, and they've presented us to this. So in the process this year, our department began back in September gathering information, even though the state was still working on the list of books we could choose from. So that's driven by the state. And as a part of that process, that information gets to us finally, and then we began to, as a school district, ask people to volunteer to be members of those teams. And as they do, then we take opportunities to show them the new products and the new textbooks that are available. And that began for us, actually, it was supposed to begin for us back in January. The day that the state has what they call a caravan, the different publishers will come to your building for you to let your teams look at their wares. Excuse me, that was supposed to happen in January. It just so happened this year that it snowed on the day that was supposed to happen. So, as all things, then that put us behind, and we, after they rescheduled that caravan, that was rescheduled to March the 13th. So we finally got a chance to look at those textbooks. We were able to choose from some because we knew there were some that we didn't want to look at. There was a lot to choose from. As our committee worked with that, they took a lot of their time and a lot of energy to come and look at those textbooks and to see what was available. About that time, after we had sort of finished that end of the process, and I think we've made you aware of this, that we were offered by Williamson County Schools to have access to the curriculum they had developed. And so, as we mentioned earlier, I'll just review that quickly. Williamson County a year ago, decided to, knowing this process was going to be taking place, decided to develop a team of teachers. That's all they did for that 1 year. So those teachers were out of the classroom. We actually visited their offices in the board chambers that's at their central office, and they worked for 1 full year. And there were 9 teachers total, and another person involved as well. But they were broken into teams, and they developed that. So when Williamson County contacted us, we felt that was a really good opportunity for us to take a look. Unfortunately, our committee had already been through the process and looked at what was available. We were able to meet with Williamson County. Our very first meeting was April the 12th. And we met with them to discuss the possibilities. When we went to meet with them, we were given actually quite a reception. They presented lessons for us. They showed us the curriculum materials. Everything they produced was online. And just so you know, this process that they use is called Open Educational Resources. And that's a term that means you gather, you collect, and you archive open resources that are available to all of us. And what they've done is they've collected all those and put into it's actually through a Google account, basically, that their teachers will be able to access. So we went and saw that in April, and we realized, we took a team of people. I was really encouraged by the response of those people that we consider to be our science experts in our district, who after they saw that, they were skeptical at first, but after they saw it, they were really enthused and felt like that was something that was going to be very useful for us. So this we're embarking on, and what we're asking you to do tonight is to approve our adoption of this online resource. Besides the fact that it saves us lots of money, the thing that we really like about this is it's going to change the trend for educators in the future, being able to access resources online, resources that have been vetted by other professionals, and it's adaptable. I'd love to be able to show you sometime when we have time to actually sit down and look at it, but show you exactly how it works, so that as teachers find resources themselves that they feel might be good to be added to this particular product, they can suggest those, and people within their central office will vet those, review those, and see if that actually fits in. So it's going to be a living, not necessarily a document, it's an online gathering of resources that are based. I really, like I said, would love to show you how they've taken the time and energies to scope out and sequence the curriculum quarter by quarter, and so teachers know exactly what they're going to be teaching during that time period and how to go about that with lots of information, lots of resources. But that's the reason that we're coming to you tonight. A part of the process is to say this is what we'd like to adopt, and we have to have your signature and your approval to go this route. So after having looked at it, as I said, I feel very confident in asking people who are much more competent in science than myself to take a look at it and to review the information. We feel like it's a very good resource for us to use. The price, obviously, can't be beat because they're actually just allowing us access. As I mentioned, we met back in April. We met also again on Monday to sort of finalize some things, to put our hands on it. I've been given access a few weeks ago, But now we want to make sure that our teachers and our coaches and all of our staff have access to it. So we've begun that process. Before the meeting tonight, I was working in the office, and Williamson County made the connection. I was talking with one of our coaches online. I was able to walk her through it. So I know that the process is complete. We're going to be able to link all those things together so our people will have access to it. I'm excited about it. Like I said, what we in education have been tied to textbooks for all of our lives, and what we have found is textbooks can be wasteful in that they're not up to date. They don't meet the needs. They don't match the standards. They don't provide the teachers with the information they need. So teachers have to go out and find the resources. And so basically what this is doing is finding those resources, making them available, and keeping a dynamic object for us to use.
Any questions? Mr. Settle?
I think you may have already addressed this when we talked about this at budget time. But just for everybody to be reminded, this curriculum has been approved by the state, correct?
Right, that has been.
It has been.
Yes.
And the other question that I had has to do with, and I think you mentioned this too, are they planning on doing any other open source subjects?
Yes.
Like this?
When we met with them the first time back in April, they told us they were planning to do the same process for social studies, which is in the cycle for next year. And so that as we review, we'll go through this process again next year. We'll put together a team. We'll look at other options, but we will also want to look at what they have available. And this time, our team will know in advance that this is an option, and we'll be able to take a look at it, compare with other items that are available. But so that's in the pipeline. I do want to say this. When we met with him yesterday, it encouraged me as well, because we were told that other districts have been now reached out to Williamson County and asked. And I just have to commend them, because being able to make this available to other districts frees up money that we in education dearly need. Mm-hmm. I think it's a real, I use the word altruistic. I think they're looking out for the benefit of everybody in education, and to be able to share it with us, I'm really very grateful that they opened that up. A lot of times, we get competitive, and especially when it comes to sports. But I think in this part, what they're saying is this is something everybody needs, everybody could use, and if we can work together. And that's, as I mentioned to you earlier, when we were talking during budget, one of the things I asked him, what can we do to help to reciprocate? Mm-hmm. How can we assist in the process? Mm-hmm. So while we haven't gotten to that spot, they're going to be changing some staffing. There's going to be one of their officials in their department's going to be retiring. But as we work through, we want to look to see what we can do to help, because we think it would be beneficial. But as I said, what they said yesterday, other districts, and I'm talking about other large districts that may be close by to us, and that are asking them, and they're beginning to talk about how they can access those as well. So, any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Now, I heard there were kits involved. Is that correct? Do they have grade level kits or subject kits?
That's a great question. What Williamson County has done, they've been using kits for, I think, the last 20 years. They started in the 90s, and they have gone through the process of purchasing, but also building a facility or utilizing a facility where they could actually build those kits. Mm-hmm. And so where they could save money, instead of purchasing a kit that had all these materials in it, they began to go through the process of doing some of that themselves.
Are they consumable items?
There are, and we won't have access to that because we don't have that 20 years worth of history to build. We'll have to look at other options. But what I hope that we'll be able to do is to look at, get our teachers to help us decide which of those kits would be the most beneficial, along with the resources. And once again, I wish I could show you, but along with the resources, the kit is at the top because that's something they've been using for years. Underneath that, though, are just numerous activities that can be supplemented or can replace that actual kit. And so we feel like we'll be able to do lots of things, but as our teachers advise us, that'll give us some opportunities to get in the process of deciding, are these things some things we need to buy? Great. We don't need to buy everything. We don't need to duplicate everything that they've done, but there may be some things that we want to look at in future years. One of the things we said for this year is our goal that the state has sort of given to us, and I appreciate it, what the state said to us in our training as we began to look at the standards and think about what we needed to do to prepare for this. The state said that we should plan on asking our teachers to learn and teach all the standards. And which doesn't mean we skim through anything, but that's what needs to be our focus. And as our teachers learn those new standards, then they'll be able to pick out correctly which are the kits that we need, which are the activities that are best, which are the things that meet the needs of our children the best. So.
My concern, having used kits in the past maybe with Scott Forsman, I don't remember, if this is something that, let's say electricity, you need all of these items, is there a budget to refill them, and whose job will it be to do that?
And I think that's one thing that really, Ms. Rainier, the one good thing about having this year, if you think about what we've done with our reading and math standards and the depth we've gone into, what we're really looking at doing is this year is really focusing on learning those standards. Now, along with that, I think we'll get used to using the hands-on, but I think we'll have that time. There are some school districts that are not even purchasing anything right now. They're just learning the standards. And so that's one reason I feel comfortable with this. Another reason is because one of the things that you all looked at really was online too. A lot of it was. Mm-hmm. So we have taken some money and put it in the budget that we would have had to have used for this. But we're already seeing some of our schools purchasing some things with their funding. And what we've done is had folks who have looked at the Williamson County curriculum say, yes, this would be a good thing to purchase, or instead of this, you might want to look at this. So I want to be sure that we get our standards under our belt really solid before we go out and spend a lot of money on the kits, although we'll be spending some. But it is the logistics, and it is we've talked about this a little bit, and that's one thing we'll be doing this year is really looking at what are we going to need and how do we want to roll it out. So I would love to be able to have it in the schools instead of having, because I think a lot of times if you have it located at a central office, unless you have a method that's really solid as far as getting that out to the schools, then too often I think that's wasted. So I think one of the things we want to do this year is really determine what do we need as far as the hands-on materials, and then how do we want to get that to teachers? What's the best way to get that to teachers? And I think this year we'll have time to do that. But our primary goal this year will be learning those standards.
In the past, textbook companies have made those sort of kits available, and that may be your experience. What we know from those experiences is a lot of times you'll get stuff, and you'll get a big tub of stuff, and you only need what you're really going to use out of that is a handful of it. And so rather than us purchasing in that manner, once we learn the standards and we understand where our students are and what their needs are, we can better determine what's really important for us to purchase and put together. So I think this year will be that year where we do a lot of that learning. A lot of schools will spend some time and money putting some things together, but what we want to do is be the go-between to find out what's the best thing, what's everybody finding is really significant and important, and that's what we want to make sure that we make available in future.
And what you're doing tonight is what we have to do every year. We have to submit a sheet of paper to the state that says, here's what we want. A lot of school districts will submit and not ever purchase it. But I think one good part about this is this year that will give us a chance to really see what we have and what we do need.
And in the future, what I'd like to do for your board is once we actually have that and our teachers have it in their hands, maybe have them come and do some presentations to show you how that works.
Absolutely.
As I said, I'm really excited about the possibilities, but tonight's a formality, really.
Is it Mr. King?
Just one simple question. Is my memory correct? Williamson County's already used this curriculum for at least 1 year?
No, actually, today, they're actually training right now. So let me mention this as well. I'm glad you said that, Mr. King. They produced it this past year. So they're actually in training right now. As a matter of fact, in our meeting Monday, they offered to let us send some people over. We've actually started that process. We've got some people that will go tomorrow. We have 5 or 6 coaches that will be there tomorrow and Thursday in the 2-day training session. So that's what they're presenting for all their personnel. Because we're just in this phase of the process, we don't have a 2-day training prepared for our folks. Just because we're just now getting our hands on the materials. So that's where they have a head start, but they are sharing with us. And then we've asked to be able to contact some of their personnel who will finish training. Their teachers are out of school, so they're doing that training at this point. Once they finish that training, to see if they would come and do some training for us as well. So that would be something that we would have to budget for or pull some funds for that, but we're going to see if that's feasible at all, because we would have to ask our teachers to come during the summertime. We do have plans for presenting one full day of training on July the 30th. And we're in the process of putting all that training together, as we will continue to have some training from the state, and we'll have some training with Williamson County.
Mr. Ballard?
Help me get inside the classroom with this. Is the teacher going to be looking and presenting this information via online, or is it going to be iPads and laptops, and the students are going to be looking into it and working on their own? Or?
And this sounds like I'm not dodging the question at all, but they'll be doing all those things. The online resources themselves is sort of like the teacher's manual. So what they'll have in their hands is the teacher's manual. But connected with that there may be videos, there may be experiments, there may be even field trips. I mean, all sorts of online activities. And they'll push those out in different ways. Our first year, we won't push them directly to students because we don't have the software, let me just say it that way, software to set up. We have the software. We don't have it set up to be able to do that. And the first year, we want to be cautious about everything that we push. So as we learn through it, we will be able to print some resources. We'll be able to share some online. We'll be able to project some and use smart boards and other ways of presenting that information. So it gives them a really wide range of materials that they can use. And what it does, it allows those that may not have every bit of the technology to have resources they can use one way or the other.
Well, I think it's great. I love the direction of looking at the next wave of teaching and the methods, so I applaud that.
Now, I was going to say, the flexibility is there. Yeah. It's not going to be static for 4 or 6. It's going to be constantly changing, getting feedback from teachers, so I think that's great. Yeah. And it's online, so that's also great, too. So I make a motion we approve.
Second?
I will second it.
Okay. Discussion, because I have a question. I have heard that teachers are being asked to, I guess, dispose of their current science books. Is that possible?
We will not, because they don't match the standards. We will not be using those. And the problem with those resources, since they don't match the standards and they don't go use the rigor, we don't want them falling back into some old pattern of teaching it the old way. Because what we want kids to learn now is a new way of looking at science, which includes thinking about engineering principles, thinking about what we call cross-cutting concepts, so that they're thinking about asking how to ask questions and not just follow along with the textbook.
I agree with that, but I don't agree with not giving them. I'm thinking of a first-year teacher who might walk in and they're going to teach third grade and they need to be working on electricity of some sort, conduits, whatever. And yes, they know they've got this online, but if they see something written in print that might help them take that first step and then realize they can go to this other source, I just think it's kind of important not to dispose of everything.
Absolutely. We understand that. And what we find with our new teachers, they're more apt and more able to use these resources than some of our more veteran teachers. So we're going to have to look at both ends of the spectrum, those that are brand new, those that have been doing it for years, to make sure that we help them do that. What we found with these resources is there's lots of support and structure for the teachers, so that even when I mentioned a while ago, science and engineering practices, there are videos online that are just for the teachers to help build their content knowledge, so that if they're not an expert, and not everyone is, if they're not, they can gradually become one and learn more as they're presenting and feel comfortable about presenting the information to the students.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? We've had a motion and a second to approve the science. I've lost it on here. Science curriculum adoption. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. Thank you. Personnel report.
The personnel report you have, if you have questions, please refer those to Mr. Ringstaff.
Yes, Mr. Ballard, I'm sorry.
I just have one request, if reasonable request, is that on the departing teachers, that we get a asterisk or something that says whether they were tenured or not. Okay.
Did you get my note today?
Yes, did you get my reply?
I have not seen it, no. Okay. All right, revenue and expenditures, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, thank you. Your comparison of the budget totals, we have $8,419,000 to the good of net income at this time. We're at the 83.3% of the year. Then in the revenue side, our property tax collections are up $471,000, and our sales tax collections are up almost $332,000. Percentage-wise, we're a little ahead on collections and revenue coming in, so we feel pretty good about that. Of course, we always want more sales tax. Please shop locally, but that's where we are. Revenue-wise, we seem to be on track pretty good. On the expenditure-wise, we're at 74.9% of expenditures at the 83% time of the year. Last year at this time we were at 73.1. A lot of these things on these reports, since they're monthly, is about timing. For example, last year we didn't pay the workers' comp bill to the city until the end of the year, so it actually showed up in this one. So you got a double hit this year on workers' comp because the bill came earlier, so we paid it earlier. And buying extra computers and things for the staff as people came in, etc. Overall, though, at 74.9, we feel like we're in pretty good shape on that as well.
Slightly ahead of last year. That's good. Anybody have questions? Okay. Move to approve. Oh, we don't need to approve this. Sorry. My computer would do what it's supposed to do. Sorry. We did the comparison report? Yes?
And that's actually very good news, correct?
Looks good to me.
Have our numbers changed at all as far as growth or anything this last month?
The year doesn't officially end until Friday, so we did grow 50 kids 2 months ago, 10 kids last month, and I don't know what this month yet. We don't know until another few days.
All right. Anything else to come before the board? If not, do you have a motion? We'll let Jared. Do you have a motion to?
I do. I would move to adjourn.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right. Thank you so much. Jared, we'll miss you.
Miss you too. Good night.